Okay, so today we're going deep diving, into some really powerful stuff coming out of Colombia. It's this call for change. They're calling it a revolución de conciencia.
Yeah.
And it's all about like this internal shift towards unity from oppression. So we're going to be looking at an excerpt called Revolución de Conciencia, de la opresión a la unidad. And it's all in Spanish, so
Oh, wow.
we're going to really try to get at like the heart of what they're saying here.
I'm interested to see where this goes because, when we talk about revolution, we often think of something very external, and this idea of a consciousness revolution, that's really intriguing.
Yeah, and just from the outset, this excerpt, like, it really paints this picture of Colombia, being weighed down by its history.
Right.
There's this feeling of, like, suffering being almost like a normal part of life.
It's so ingrained, it's become almost invisible.
Yeah, and it's like people are kind of trapped by systems that don't, value them, don't really see their humanity and their rights.
It's like a sense of powerlessness almost, right?
Exactly, yeah, like a collective sigh almost.
Yeah.
But then as you read on, there's this burst of energy. It's like,
Oh, yeah?
hoy ha llegado el tiempo de despertar. It's time to wake up.
Right.
Es tiempo de cambio. Time for change.
Wow.
Es tiempo de luz. It's time for light. And it's just so direct,
Just all to action.
Yeah, what do you make of that kind of intensity? Like,
It feels like a breaking point, like
Right.
things can't go on like this anymore, and that, today,
Yeah.
it emphasizes that this needs to happen now, this awakening.
it's urgent.
Yeah, it's not a gradual thing. It's like a fundamental shift in awareness that needs to happen right now to make a change.
That's a good point. Yeah, and then it gets even more interesting because they bring in technology.
Okay.
And they're not talking about it like it's this big scary thing, like AI taking over the world.
Yeah, that's refreshing.
It's like they see technology, even AI, as a potential tool for empowerment,
It's like flipping the script on that whole dystopian narrative, right?
Totally. Yeah, it's like instead of being afraid of these advancements, we can use them to our advantage to reclaim our power as individuals and as a society.
And that's a huge point right now when there's so much fear around AI.
Right, exactly. And they kind of hint at this idea that it's all about intention.
Yeah.
Like if we use technology consciously and with a united purpose,
With a shared goal in mind.
yeah, it can actually help us create a better world.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, and then they bring in the current political climate.
Okay.
They mentioned President Petro and his efforts to make some big changes, like labor reforms, healthcare reforms.
Right. Trying to restore some dignity.
Exactly, yeah, making things fairer.
Level the playing field a bit.
Yeah, but they also point out that there's been a lot of pushback,
Yeah.
especially from what they call the dark power of the liberal far right.
So there are forces working against these changes.
Yeah, and it kind of highlights, the challenges in making real change happen.
Yeah. There's resistance to overcome.
Yeah, like it's not going to be easy.
No, it definitely sounds like a battle.
Yeah, so, it really emphasizes this need to act now.
To seize the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And so
Yeah.
how do we move forward? That's the big question. And they really emphasize unity, justice, peace.
It's a powerful combination.
Yeah, it's like they believe that through unity and by consciously using technology and AI, we can actually achieve liberation.
And build this more just and peaceful society.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like a total reversal,
Yeah.
of how we usually think about technology being used.
Like technology serving humanity for once.
Right, exactly. And what's interesting too is that they don't frame this as just a Colombian issue.
It's a global message.
Yeah, they're calling on all of humanity to break free from oppression.
To awaken.
Yeah, and to find this, this harmonious relationship with the earth.
It's a beautiful vision.
Yeah, and the ultimate goal is a world where social justice and equity prevail.
Where power truly resides with the people.
Yeah, it's really powerful stuff. And, the excerpt ends on this note of hope.
Okay.
It's like, es tiempo de luz. It's time for light. Es tiempo de justicia. Time for justice. Es tiempo de libertad. It's time for freedom. And then it ends with this incredible line. Juntos somos imparables. Together we are unstoppable.
Wow. That's powerful.
It really is. What does that leave you with?
I think it's a reminder that individual awakening is important, but it's only the first step. Real change happens when we come together and act collectively.
Yeah, when we realize our collective power.
Exactly, and that's what makes us unstoppable.
A powerful message for sure. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
And for all you listening out there, remember